Have you ever had a moment where it was very difficult for you to get past a certain level? And these moments often appear when you are dealing with relationships. Well, family, it may be time for you to face those family dynamics. The good news is that this is completely fixable and it is completely normal. The tools is that you're going to have to look deeper in your family dynamic to unlock your next level. Hi, family. My name is Lexus, and I am the author of Dear Lotus. Dear Lotus is a story that follows around 4 freshman high school students who have to use their God given gifts in order to get through their muddy, murky challenges. Now, in Dear Lotus, a lot of my characters have to face family dynamics and a lot of their God given talents that they discover, which sometimes are uniquely inherited from their lineage. Oftentimes, these inherited gifts are used to bring healing within the family dynamic. And I feel like that happens a lot often than what we acknowledge when it comes to creatives. Sometimes creativity is the only way someone can express themselves. When you put family dynamics in the mix of that, sometimes it can be a little difficult. But what if it's not? What if it's as simple as people tapping into their creative gifts and talents to articulate whatever moment that they may need to articulate that they can't do in a quote unquote regular way? So I want us to acknowledge that too. And sometimes as a creative, what happens when you are walking that faith walk is that you wake up dormant dreams and hopes in your family dynamics. So parents may get inspired, your mother or your father or whoever is a mother or father figure to you, or a sibling may get inspired. So it's only natural, even if they are your half sibling or not. You know, you all grew up in the same household. If not, it's just still that proximity and what they see you doing. It can wake up dormant dreams in the next person. And that's just what faith does. What that uncomfortability comes from is when we try to do it on our own, right? We try to just walk this faith walk by ourselves, and we forget that there are other people who may get inspired by our walk too. And no, I'm not asking you to carry the burdens of other people's dreams and hopes and visions, but it is good that you are aware that this may be the inner dialogue of their heart space, so that you can simply pray for them that they find what it is that God wants them to unlock in their own lives, because it is truly, truly a rewarding, such a beautiful thing when someone taps into their passion and they can get healing from that passion and they grow in that passion. I mean, of course, it's going to inspire other people. And sometimes people aren't strong enough to articulate, hey, you inspire me. And sometimes you just got to read between the lines that you inspire them, even if they are not articulating it in a healthy way. And maybe God is using you to become that leader for your own space. But sometimes it's good to exercise that with the people that He is bringing to your attention first, in order for you to get qualified to do that, if that makes sense. I am very happy to share how to confront family dynamics to my viewers, to the young adult creatives, not only because I went through that personal journey of my own, and even in my adult years, I'm still learning it, even later down the line when I have a family of my own, it's still going to be a learning thing. But I really, really enjoyed writing about the story of these 4 young adult creatives and how they uniquely tapped into their gifts to bring healing to their family dynamics. And also, a lot of my characters in the book, they woke up dormant talent in their parents, which healed and trickled down to some of their siblings. And it also helped them to walk a faithful walk. So that's what we are going to be talking about today, family, is how to confront family dynamics in a very unique perspective and why it's important. And also how rewarding it can be. The main scripture of this video is going to be from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 30. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Okay, so today I want to talk to every young creative, every future entrepreneur, every artist, every writer, every musician, every filmmaker, athlete. If you are great with coding, tech, I'm talking to you. This is a video for you. Anyone who feels like God has placed something special inside of them. Sometimes we think the biggest obstacle to our next level is money, right? We're always thinking about something that's tangible, something that we can see. Sometimes we think it's talent, sometimes we think it's opportunity, but what if one of the greatest obstacles is something much closer to home? Today I want to talk about family dynamics, not to blame our families, but to help us recognize how unresolved conflict, comparison, jealousy, favoritism, unhealthy communication, or old wounds can quietly affect the way we see ourselves, our gifts, and put a veil over our future and our potential. This isn't a conversation about condemnation. It's a conversation that is deeply embedded in healing, because healed people create differently. So we're going to start off with some points. Point 1, you can't conquer giants you refuse to acknowledge. So many young people want the next level creatively. But before God can trust us with greater influence, sometimes He invites us to confront what's happening inside of us. Okay, so sometimes that can be sibling rivalry, comparison, feeling overlooked, constantly competing for approval, carrying labels placed on you, feeling like your gift isn't celebrated. And, this isn't for you to. This isn't for you to look at your sibling with a side eye, okay? Like, don't mean mug your sibling right now. Do not look at them with that side eye and be like, hey, you know what? This isn't for that, because to be honest with you, a short testimony, even as I had to go through this process myself, and I had to go through this process plenty of times, like a lot of times. When I went through this process of healing my familial dynamics so that I can get to my next level, I realized that, and one of my good friends also told me this too, was that whether you like it or not, even your enemy was a victim at one point of their lives. So even our enemies have victims. Everyone is a victim in someone's story, whether you want to believe it or not. So, this isn't a time for you to look at your sibling or your parent with, well, why didn't you provide me with this? Or why are you jealous of me? No, this is a time for you to look at them as a human being who's learning and who's growing themselves, and for you to release out of your soul whatever the enemy has been trying to keep you in bondage to, which is a lie, because we all are learning and growing. And so you don't want to get to any point of your career. You don't want to get to any point of your creative pursuits, and once that great opportunity is right there on the table for you, you do something completely silly with it, or you don't max out its potential because it reminds you too much of something of the past, and I'll get more into how this can be, because it can manifest itself in so many different ways. So this is just for you guys to be aware of. It's not for you to go side-eye anyone in your family or mug anyone. This is simply for you to be aware of and have better tools to look at things from a higher perspective so that you can get to your next level deservingly. So one of my top favorite scriptures that has helped me to overcome family dynamics, Psalm 139, chapter 23 through 24. The Lord will really show you that he wants you to look at things from a different perspective. So I'm going to read the scripture, and this is coming from the NIV translation. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Now, it's so good to say these prayers when you are faced with a hardship concerning the family dynamic, because it allows you to humbly invite God into the situation so that he can give you a higher perspective. And truth be told, a little testimony, every time I said that prayer, when I was in a space to confront my own family dynamics, the Lord will always upgrade my perspective, and he will always let me know this isn't about you, So it could be, yes, my feelings are hurt. Yes, I don't understand the situation and I'm a little offended by it. But one thing he does always is he humbles me in that moment, because he shows me that those people are deserving of grace and prayer and love. And that's one thing I want you guys to practice when you are listening to this video, and you do have enough courage and faith to face your own family dynamic. Because what's happening is oftentimes there's a little gatekeeping going on from the enemy that is a reason why it's hard for you to face things. A good thing to practice is to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, because like I said, there's something in there for you for your next level. So always remember that when something is difficult for you to face, just know that there's a little gatekeeping going on, and you want to face it headstrong. You want to see what's going on, and you want to see yourself be a better person through whatever the enemy is trying to gatekeep from you. Okay? So, point 2, identify the root, not just the symptom. So, creative block, it isn't always about lacking ideas. Sometimes you can't create because you're exhausted. You don't finish because you're afraid. You don't share because you've been criticized. You compare because comparison become normal in your environment. So ask yourself, what emotion keeps showing up whenever I try to grow? Jealousy, fear, shame, bitterness. Prayer doesn't just remove obstacles, prayer reveals them. Okay, so point 3 is peace protects purpose. And this is from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 30, tying it all together. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. So notice, the verse isn't only talking about physical health. Envy, resentment, bitterness, and constant comparison, it slowly affect every area of our lives, including creativity. The enemy doesn't always need to steal your talent. Sometimes he'll settle for stealing your peace, and that's what'll make a lot of people go out to go do things that is an off-brand of real peace. A lot of creative individuals don't know what true, genuine peace feels like, and that's what the enemy does, right? He steals your peace so that you can go dip off and go do something else. But that's not what we're doing today. We're going to confront the things that steal our peace head on so that we can get to our next level and level up. And I have like a bonus that I'm gonna talk about at the end of the video, and why it's so important to run towards the things that make you uncomfortable and not run away from it. Okay, it's very rewarding, and I'll tie it all together in the end. All right, so your greatest creative superpower isn't being the smartest. It isn't being the most talented. It's not having the most followers. It's having a heart, okay? It's about having heart, and a heart that stays close to Christ. Because peace, it helps you hear God clearly, and clarity will produce purpose and endurance. So prayer becomes your biggest creative strategy, not just when life falls apart, but every day. You want to make sure you pray. So I have some reflection questions for you. Number one, what family dynamic do you need to surrender to God? What is it? What is a recurrent thing that's popping up in your life? Everywhere you go, everywhere you look, you just know that God is trying to grasp your attention towards something that has been holding you back. And it's oftentimes someone that's closest to you that always pops up in your mind. Who is that person? Okay. Number two, what lie have you believed about yourself lately? Number three, what gift has God asked you to steward despite your circumstances? Number four, what step can you take this week toward healing? Using one of the key points that I pointed out, I would love for you to come back to this video and post in the comment section the steps that you've taken from this video and how much it has helped you, because it will help out the community so much. All right, so if this message encouraged you, I'd love for you to continue following the journey. My debut novel, Dear Lotus, is now officially in the developmental editing stage, and I'm so grateful for what God has done throughout this process. If you like updates on the book's release, behind the scenes content, and future resources, be sure to join the newsletter through the link in my bio. You can also support our Kickstarter campaign. Your support helps us work towards placing Dear Lotus in libraries, school libraries, and other library spaces where young readers can discover faith-centered stories that encourage creativity, identity, and purpose. If you enjoy thoughtful coming-of-age stories that explore faith, identity, and creativity, I hope you'll follow along as Dear Lotus continues its journey. Thank you for spending this time with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who may need encouragement today. And always keep moving forward, Lotus Buds. But before you go, I told you I had a bonus thought, okay? The reason why it is so important to run towards uncomfortable things and not to hide from it is your healing may be someone else's breakthrough, okay? So here's another thought that I want to leave with all of my young creatives. Sometimes your unique journey of healing, of facing those giants, while they're still mini giants before they become mountains, it is not just about you. I promise you it isn't. You guys, I have done this so many times throughout life, and every single time I had to confront a giant, I've learned that it wasn't always about me. Like, it's not about you, okay? It may actually become the very thing God uses to bless someone else. And sometimes that blessing has nothing to do with your actual talent. Think about that. It may not even be your artwork, your writing, your music, your filmmaking, or your business. Sometimes it's simply the perspective you've gained because of what God brought you. That perspective can become one of the most valuable things you carry. As young adults, we can become so focused on sharpening our skills that we forget God also develops our character and discernment and the way we see people. Those things matter too. There may come a day when you're sitting across from someone who's been a pioneer in your industry for years. And while everyone else is trying to impress them with talent, God may use your wisdom. He may use your humility. He may use your compassion or your unique perspective to encourage them in a way that they didn't even realize they needed. And yes, this can happen even to pioneers. You guys, I have been around some amazing people in my life, like true industry pioneers. And one thing that has won me over everyone else was the fact that, like, everybody can have all these qualifications and, you know, all these, I don't know, certifications or a wealth amount of experience. But one thing that has always won me over when it came to leadership is not me trying hard. It's not any of that. What it is my authenticity. It's who I am. And my real commitment to a real purposeful journey. So, when you're around these industry pioneers, or even when you're around your family, like family leaders, your mother or your father or your step parent or your grandparent or your older brother, it could be anyone. It could be the janitor, anyone. When you're around humans, when you are around people, the best thing you can do is bring your best self. It's not, you don't have to prove a point. And you know what? As AI starts to become our norm, less and less human interaction, there's going to be a time where people are really, really going to be needing someone who can connect with people. Leaders are going to need this in the next leaders to come. So, those are your keys. So, yes, heal those family dynamics and let God qualify you for the next step. Because if you want to be qualified by anyone, you want to be qualified by God so He can place you in the midst of a leader, an industry pioneer who needs a perspective like yours. Okay? So that's why it's so important not to despise your healing journey. You never know who God is preparing you to serve. And when I think about this, I think about Daniel. Daniel in the Bible, he had certain gifts, right? He was able to interpret dreams. But what continually set him apart was his faithfulness to God and the wisdom God gave him. So God, he used Daniel's discernment and interpretation to serve a king's needs. Because of that faithfulness, Daniel was entrusted with greater responsibility. Sometimes our next level isn't simply found in working hard. Sometimes it's found in becoming the kind of person God can trust to carry his perspective into rooms we never imagined we'd enter. So don't become so consumed with the tools in your hands that you forget the one who gave them to you. Your greatest gift may not always be your talent. Sometimes it's the healed perspective that only God could have produced through your journey. And that perspective may become the very thing God uses to bless someone from an entirely different generation. So stay humble, stay teachable, most importantly, stay authentic, because God isn't only preparing your gift, He's preparing you. I love you, family, and I hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful, blessed day. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.